Joining me now is Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, I'm going to get to the thrust of my angle in just a moment with you. But first, I need to get your reaction to this reporting late today from the New York Times. The drone strike that we were told took out an ISIS facilitator in Afghanistan actually killed a U.S.-affiliated aid worker and 9 others, including much of his family, 7 children. The car that the Pentagon and the White House told us was filled with explosives that allegedly caused secondary explosions. It was actually filled with water jugs, according to the New York Times investigation. Fox has not independently confirmed this, but there were numerous eyewitnesses on site that night who did. Senator, your reaction?
You know, if true, it's another sad instance of just the most incompetent withdrawal we've ever seen in our history. But yeah, we'll await the facts as they come forward. But yes, I'm not surprised that we saw a bombing that was done to show that, oh, we aren't as feckless as it looked like we were in the withdrawal. And in the end, that they may have made a mistake in it. That'll be, you know, one more disastrous fact after another. So I hope it's not true. But if it is true, that's, you know, devastating. And they ought to tell the truth about it if it is.
Yeah, and much easier always to tell the truth initially. But I think it is worth it for Americans to listen back to the Pentagon's initial comments about what went down. The White House and the Pentagon, all of it. This was just 2 weeks back.
This self-defense strike successfully hit the target near Kabul airport. Significant secondary explosions from the targeted vehicle indicated the presence of a substantial amount of explosive material.
I will note that in the CENTCOM statement that they put out yesterday, last night, I should say, what they noted is that there was also the explosion. There were explosives in this vehicle that could have led to additional damage.
Now, these are the same, I guess, intel reports being fed to these White House staffers and the Pentagon that are also feeding information about a potential domestic terror threat next week at a rally that no one's ever heard of. Like, I don't trust any of these people at this point, Senator, which is terrifying on the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
You know, the one thing that we did know and we did have eyes on that we could have blown up were all of the helicopters we left, all of the planes we left, all of the Humvees, armored personnel. There were a lot of things that could have been blown up on the way out. Even if you hadn't predicted the Taliban was going to take over, certainly that equipment should have been destroyed on the way out. Instead, an isolated attack somewhere, which may or may not have killed its intended target. But this has been a long-standing problem with some of the drone attacks is they may even sometimes get their target, but if they get 10 or 15 innocent people in the same neighborhood as the target, it ends up creating antipathy that really may in the end be worse than the initial strike.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine the New York Times being as friendly as it is to the Biden administration on a Friday afternoon, reporting with such specificity a drone attack that in part hit its intended target. I don't think it hit any of its intended target, not with this strike at least. But I want to get back to my angle, Senator, because again, on the eve of 9/11, the disgraced former FBI official Andrew McCabe, he is focused on a different kind of terrorist.
The work of countering terrorism never stops. The upcoming rally on the 18th, or when a particular anniversary, a significant anniversary is upon us, like the anniversary of 9/11, any events that could be triggering or could cause extremists to maybe want to mark those events with acts of violence, you get focused on those.
Conflating 9/11 with some rally that at least none of the conservatives I know have ever heard of.
Yeah, I think most of what they've done is to construct an enemy that needs to be so important that we need a fence around the Capitol. And I think that's to redirect our view away from Portland and Seattle and Chicago. Look, even in Louisville, Kentucky, we have more deaths per capita than Chicago now. So they're taking us away from the great problems that we have across this country and try to redirect it towards something that was obviously a mistake to trespass in the Capitol, but wasn't some sort of civil war they're trying to make it out to be.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.